got your mojo all beat up a little bit. You're going to get ticked. Fortunately, you got some options. First one, virus. Step one. You get ticked in Hollywood and you're a hacker, you got to go with the virus. Now, these hackers are going to launch the Da Vinci virus. Yeah, not much style. I mean, it was what, like the 80s, right? The Da Vinci virus, what is that? So lame. So modern day hackers know much better. Like this guy, other than the look on his face, which just speaks to the unspeakable power of what he just said. My retrovirus would have wiped them out. His retrovirus. I think he caught a retrovirus. Right. Now, I was really ticked off because I wrote this really hot code, flexing my coding skills. And I'm seeing all this suspicious activity, Hollywood messing with my system, right? Next thing I know, I got a retrovirus. My code disappears. It's deleted. I tried to jam it. Nothing worked. My code disappeared. And a year later, this movie comes out. And I'm like so pissed off. But, all right. Can anybody tell me what this code does? Yeah, it runs die mainframe die. It's a very specialized script which kills the mainframe. What's the script waiting for? So, no sooner does my code disappear from my box, evil Hollywood hackers, then the movie comes out. Anybody remember the movie? The Net? And what happens? You push the escape key and the mainframe dies. I was so pissed. Sandra Bullock has like the starring role. I'm like, that should have been me. Sucks. All right, so angry hackers. Hackers get mad about spam. I mean, everybody gets mad about spam, but hackers especially because it's just like taunting you. It's like just on the edge of your technical ability. You know, you don't want to dedicate the time to deal with it, but Hollywood hackers deal with it head on. For example, this guy uses the Flotsam virus to redirect all his spam to the net police. That's hardcore. All right, let's vote on this one. How many people for leet? How many people for lame? Aha, the tides are turning. Here you go, here's Gmail. First to market with all of the cool features. This is the spam section of my Gmail. Notice the button. Use Flotsam virus. Yep. So you check them all, you use the Flotsam virus, and then you click this button. Use the Flotsam virus, forward to Net Police. Gmail thinks of everything. It's hardcore. Hollywood gets it right again. All right, speaking of spam, I love this quote. This is from that same Bruce Sterling book, The Zenith Angle. We're attacking that Iridium satellite. First of all, how hardcore is that? All right, so the guy says, and this is the logical thing to ask when you realize somebody's hacking an Iridium satellite, right? Don't people miss the internet when you throw it up into space? Okay, well, I'm skipping some parts in the middle, but this is the gist of the thing. But the guy says, oh, don't worry, it's all spam. I'm attacking the satellite with laser spam. Now, granted, I could be accused of taking it out of context, but that's a quote right there. I am attacking the satellite with laser spam. All right, so let's get a vote. How many people for leet? How many people for lame? Ooh. Remember what I'm teaching you here, all right? Because here's Gmail again. It's my spam folder. Beam into space. Laser. All right, so you select all your mail and you beam it into space. Actually, in all seriousness, Google had an even better idea of what to do with the spam than I did. It's right here. Actually make some creamy spam broccoli casserole. Just thought that was awesome. Anybody here ever had creamy spam broccoli casserole? Not sure what spam tastes like. You forward it from your mailbox and cook it. Don't know what that's about. All right, let's go to another one here. Oh boy, pressure's on, the boss is over your shoulder, and the hacker that you're trying to keep out of your system found an override tap. It happens. It happens to the best of us. And the hacker's computers may be back up. Now, fortunately for this guy, his boss is Bill Gates, or supposed to be Bill Gates, right? And he's got a great solution. His solution is to run an override algorithm. That's why he gets paid the big bucks. They get an override tap, run the override algorithm. All right, so got to go back and forth with it because you can't let your boss have the last word, so you got to one-up him. I'm going to run the super override program. It was a great idea I had. All right, let's go to the video clip.
But they're hackers. But don't worry. All we have to do is launch the Da Vinci virus. The Da Vinci virus.
That's impossible.
The Da Vinci virus.
Use the flotsam virus. Use the flotsam virus to redirect all spam to the net police.
That's impossible. My retrovirus would have wiped them out. My retrovirus would have wiped them out.
I gave it a cold. I gave it a virus. I gave it a cold. I gave it a virus. Computer virus. Virus.
So what we need from you, Stanley, is a worm. A worm.
A worm and a virus?
A worm. A retrovirus.
Virus.
The Da Vinci virus.
Plot thickens.
My retrovirus would have wiped them out. Unless, they had our manual memorized and factored, which would only take a couple of years.
Forgot about that last part. I mean, that's the thing with hackers. They're resilient, right? You never count on them memorizing and factoring your manual. All right, let's wrap up with a few hacker challenges. All right, now this is the really hardcore stuff, hardcore technical stuff. You're gonna have to be in the zone. All right, remember these are Hollywood hackers we're dealing with. All right, this is actually hacker challenge number 1. So, hypothetically, I mean, say you're distracted. I mean, I'm not going to be real specific, but it happens. I mean, you don't even really have to have ADD to get distracted sometimes. It happens, all right? He's obviously, look at his face. He's distracted. All right, so you're a distracted hacker. We'll leave it at that. And here is your challenge. You have 60 seconds to break into this. How many people saw the movie? All right, so you guys know the solution, right? You know what he did. Now, let's vote on the solution. Was the solution leet? Let's try again. Was it leet? Or lame? Ooh. Couple strikes. Some people will never learn. Maybe it's the presentation skills going downhill or something, but some people. All right, first of all, let's look at this. Restricted access only, Department of Defense. 128-bit DES encrypted security. What? What key length do you guys use? Bet you didn't even know there was 128-bit DES. DOD rewrote it. So it ain't even regular DES, but all right, let's get on to the solution. First, you need to crack DES, right? That's your first problem. You got to crack DES. Now, some people use Perl. I like doing everything in shell. It's just me. Or awk. But C seems to be pretty mainstream. So you need to crack DES, and you probably need a C program. So how might you find that? Oh, thank you. All right, so here's the Google search. Cracking -DES file type C. First hit. First hit is from wiretap.net, the cryptography section under cracking DES. This little thing called search.c. Curious. Let's look at the code after we get the call. Here's the code. See the code. Feel the code. Love the code. All right, got it? That's the code. Now, let's flip to the screenshot. Long, read config, char star, config, file spec, char buffer, 200, int base port equals -1. Well, holy crap. So, while this guy's distracted, he has like Google in his brain. Now, let's just assume for a second you have Google in your brain. Are you even going to be able to type the query in this guy's situation? Probably not. Not only does he type in the query and get the result at the speed of light, he types the exploit into the compiler, runs it, cracks DES, under 60 seconds. So what do you think? Lead? Yeah, I think so too. All right, back to that Bruce Sterling book, talking about hacker skills. When he runs out of all the Windows holes he knows, then he'll start with his complete list of Unix vulnerabilities. Complete list. And he tries them all, cookbook style, manually. Look at him backspacing there. Now, granted, you know, it's a little brute force-ish, you know. I mean, I'm a little pickier, you know. When I'm typing out my exploits manually, I usually type like 1. But this guy, not only is he typing all of them, he's got them all memorized, typing them manually. And the response from the guy he's talking to is my response. Wow. It's a great book. You should read it sometime. All right, how about another challenge? So what we need from you, Stanley, is a worm, a hydra, actually, a multi-headed worm to sniff out digital footprints across an encrypted network. I can't tell you how close I was to submitting a talk about that. The implications of a multi-headed worm designed to sniff out digital footprints across an encrypted network. And then like the whole thing is blah, 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 blah. Right, I just like throw all this technical stuff out there, and like 99% of the people would be so utterly confused they'd like show up to figure out what the heck that was. All right. So even this hacker's challenge is just very dubious. So let's get a vote. What do you think of the solution? How many people for lead? How many people for lame? It's getting better. All right, well, let me show you how this works. First of all, you launch your worm generator tool, version 1.2. Hackers that know their stuff know that version 1.2 is really the only version to use. The other ones are buggy. Now, let's take a second and look at this screen, though. There's some stuff on the left. Can anybody tell me what the stuff on the left is? You got some IP stuff, yeah. It's the output from an actual tool. Does man in the middle. Like hunt?